Well, Cassandra, we have to all been practicing
I love
to say
it.
that. I got to work on the Cassandra because it's not Cassandra, but I'll work on that next. Cassandra, I'll work on that next. With Hobo Banker, we just finished recording an episode of Housing for Good, which talks about the intersection of community building and successful real estate careers. And that you can find that on housingforgood.com. But we always like to do a follow-up question because I found in talking to agents that are successful who are giving back into the community, there is a big effort to balance your life. It's challenging to do things at a high level, let alone multiple things at a high level.
Right.
So kind of share with us some of your secrets for some of these agents getting into this that want to do more.
Diving in. So, Tom, that has been an ongoing, evolving just journey for me. I would definitely consider myself as a workaholic. I love working and I can stay busy. And sometimes I think it takes getting to a certain point where you have done so much and you realize that you need to take a step back, not for yourself. I think that's where it becomes a little bit easier to see it, unfortunately, because we're really good about doing things for others and sometimes not for ourselves. But when you realize that when you give yourself a break or a moment to regroup and truly refresh yourself, you show up as the most incredible, highest level of you for your clients, right? So it took me a while to realize, because I was drilling myself to the ground, just working, going months sometimes without a day off. And what I realized at the end is sometimes we do need to delegate or ask for help because the way that I show up my absolute highest self for my clients, being clear-minded, making sure that everything's where it needs to be, and being there for the client, being present, listening, right? The best way that I could do that is when I take care of myself. And I think that's where work-life balance comes in. That I still, it's an ongoing thing that I continue evolving in. But I do a lot of personal development, videos, conferences. I just went to Tony Robbins. Date with Destiny.
Here we go.
Oh my God!
You cannot get in a 5-minute conversation.
No.
And then Tony Robbins.
He was just wonderful. So I've been following him since I got into sales. We're talking almost a decade ago. But the amount of things that you learn, or that I learned through this course especially, is truly working on yourself as a human being, right? Who we are, why we are. It really digs into your childhood traumas. And I think that once you can dive into that, when you're at that point and you can work through instead of being scared, because that's what I did for a very long time. It was easy for me to just push it aside, dive into work, and I'm busy and I'm doing this. But I want to ongoingly grow and be better and show up greater and give my clients more than just a house.
Yeah.
Right? I want to sell your house. I want to help you buy a house, but I also want to be there for you as a human being. I want to leave a print. I want to...
It's a big decision to do this. And if it's the first time buying, selling, even if it's not the first time, but there's a lot of stress and emotion that goes into it. It's not transactional.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we make it transactional because that's what we're used to doing.
Right.
And they need, and I see this on the loan side, they need a little bit more understanding because we can throw a lot at them very quickly.
Yes. A lot. And if you could take a moment, step back, show up, you're refreshed, you can listen better, you can be there in a greater way than you normally would. So Tony Robbins, digging deep, childhood traumas, really looking at them from different perspectives, feeling the moment. You know, what we don't understand sometimes is just going back to remembering those things and trying to look at a different perspective, or just even feeling the feelings. That's healing in its own. Yeah. And all of those little things that we could do to help ourselves is going to make us slowly show up differently. And when I meet with clients, again, it's so much more than homes. It's that conversation. It's everybody has pains. Everybody has life and so many things that they're carrying. And I think I'm going to be a psychologist with it.
There you go.
I just love that part of
I think you might be practicing the layman's version of that. I think any real estate agent is probably doing that. And I love the analogy. And I've talked to people in the past because it took me a while to learn.
Yeah.
And that's a different show. We won't bore you with all the details. But I always use the analogy, like when you're on the plane and the oxygen mask, they tell you when it drops, take care of yourself first, and then those needing assistance. Because if you take care of those needing assistance and you then don't have enough oxygen, you can't help them anymore.
Right.
And so you've got to take care of yourself. It's not selfish.
No.
It really is selfless, because you deal with that and then you can help much more effectively.
And sometimes we feel guilty, Tom. And I remember having that conversation. So when I decided that I needed to take time off, it was having the conversations with clients that, hey, I have a colleague that's going to be showing you if I'm not going to be available certain days, but I got to make sure that I take time for me so that I could be here for you. It's all going back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it works, both ways. It helps everybody all the way around. But that work-life balance, I think it's an ongoing thing that we struggle with in life. But I think that if you are doing personal development in some way, shape, or form, whatever that means to you, a course, a video, you could listen to so many things on YouTube nowadays, but if you can invest in some kind of a course, it doesn't matter. So I used to have certain people would tell me like, oh yeah, Kasandra, you just love the rah-rah. Well, let me tell you, I do love the rah-rah. However, I do truly believe that when you go to a course, it doesn't matter if you go do everything or none of it. Okay, I do believe that the shifts that happen in your psychology because of what you didn't know that now you know, it effortlessly changes your responses and reactions, especially when it's personal development. Now, if you're going to a course that's just telling you, hey, you need to make these calls, you need to do this and this, well, then that's, if you don't do it, you're not going to get anything out of it. But Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Jay Shetty, Danny Morale, all of these people that talk about your psychology and your healing and you shifting your mindset, because we make all these decisions when we're little kids. We don't have the experience, but we have a situation that happens and then we decide that we have to protect ourselves, or that we have to be guarded, or that nobody loves us, or we're not good enough. And all of those decisions we make so early on, they shape the way we show up in life. And it doesn't matter how much I rah-rah, right? When your true core belief is that you are not good enough, there is a deeper situation where you have to go into to fix, to shift. But once you start attacking that and you start shifting that and you truly believe that that's the way that you saw it, but you can view it differently, when you know that, you're going to show up differently. It's not about, okay, well, I heard Tony Robbins say all this, so now I have to practice it. No, it's going to come out. And so at Tony Robbins, they made us write ourselves a letter that they're going to send to us in 6 months. It's been 3 months since I went. And I cannot wait, because I do know the true value of going to these things and then how you see it trickling down through all your actions, your conversations with everybody, and how it shifts you to a better human being and how you are there, more present, listening to, and I'm fascinated by that world.
Well, I'm kind of excited about it because I realized that I have that video that once you're on a stage talking to huge audiences and sharing all of this wonderful knowledge, I can say, I think we launched that right here on the Mortgage Guidance Group little podcast.
I love that. That is a dream. I definitely want to speak. It seems like
you're well on that direction.
It's made a huge difference for me. And those that know me, that have known me for a long time, completely different person. And I went through the journey of I didn't like who I was. I didn't like how I responded. I had this huge attachment to my emotions. And even with all of those issues, I've built a little something, right? So when you realize, like, now that I could change my core beliefs about myself, what does that mean from here on? When I truly believe, and I'm still working on my self-worth. I just did a seminar 12-hour seminar last Saturday, not this one, but the one previous. It's about self-worth. And that was like a whole nother layer to things. Like, we could be confident, right? I could be confident because I know that I could be scared, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I just sang the national anthem, as you saw, and I was terrified. I was scared. I was shaking. I practiced all. So I don't know. Fun fact, I didn't know the national anthem because I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness environment. So I was not allowed to sing that. We were supposed to get out of the classrooms. So I had to learn it within a week. And then when I got there, I closed my eyes a lot of the time, but I was shaking, and I was in a room full of maybe like 50 other real estate agents. But I got in the moment. I really felt the song. And I think that's where courage comes in. That's being confident to me. It didn't mean that I didn't think I was going to make a mistake. Right? There was a couple of times where my breath was, but being confident, knowing that I can do it because I can push myself. But there's a whole other layer when you add, did I truly feel in that moment that I was worthy of the moment? That I was worthy of standing in front of all of these people and singing? That's a completely different, aspect of I can, but I deserve. And that's humbling, and that's love, and that's the journey that I'm on. And I loved that seminar. There was renowned speakers from all over the world. They all spoke about all of these famous, big, from many experienced speakers talking about, Oprah was on there, about how their experience with self-worth has been an ongoing journey, and how we have it by default. We are worthy, but also there's what are we giving back to make us feel worthy? So anyway, I could talk about this for hours, but.
So where do people follow your journey?
You know what? My journey is all over social media.
Okay.
So on all my platforms, I always post. I am going to be starting the motivational podcast.
Okay.
And that's going to be on YouTube. So Kasandra Prieto with a K and one S. And that should be launching in April.
Nice.
So that you're going to see more about the personal development there. But if you literally Google my name, you'll find all my platforms. YouTube will be the one where I see all the podcasts, but I'm obviously going to blast out the little nuggets all over my social medias. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be the infancy of that journey for me, and I'm excited to see where that goes. I don't know where it's going to go. I just want to share with the world what that world has done for me as a human being.
No.